Fluency English Podcast. You can speak fluency and confidently.
Welcome back to Fluency English Podcast, your place to learn natural English without the stress.
It is so good to be back here, looking out at a brand new year, a fresh calendar.
It really is. And the year 2026 has officially arrived. It's just staring us right in the face.
Okay.
So I have to ask you, how are you feeling about it? And be honest.
Honestly, I feel hopeful. I think humans are, we're sort of programmed to like the idea of a fresh start. We love a clean slate.
Of course.
But if I'm being completely transparent with you, I also feel a little bit of that New Year pressure. You know that feeling I'm talking about?
Oh, absolutely.
The feeling that I need to suddenly change everything about my life. And like immediately.
Oh, I know exactly what you mean. It's that classic New Year, New Me slogan that we see just everywhere, on every billboard, every social media post. It feels like a really heavy weight, doesn't it?
It does.
It almost implies that the old me wasn't good enough.
It really does. It's overwhelming is what it is. It's like we have to completely reinvent ourselves by, January 15th, or we've already failed the year.
Right. The deadline is impossibly short. I was looking through our source material for this deep dive, specifically that English Leap transcript we're analyzing today, and I found a quote that I absolutely loved. Yeah, it really pushed back against that pressure. It said something along the lines of, instead of a new me, maybe what we really want is the same me, but with more sleep.
I love that. Same me, but with more sleep.
Yeah.
It's so much more realistic, isn't it?
It is.
And frankly, much kinder to ourselves.
Exactly. And that is really the mission of our deep dive today. We want to help our listeners, and let's be honest, ourselves too, to move away from that high pressure need to, revolutionize our entire lives overnight.
Right.
We want to figure out how to stop living on autopilot and stop drifting, but without all the stress of these impossible goals.
I think that word you used, drifting, is so, so important here. We aren't talking about being lazy. Lazy is, it's a conscious choice to do nothing.
That's a great distinction.
Drifting is different. Drifting is when you're moving, but you're moving without a direction. And I think today is all about finding that direction, but in a way that feels easy.
Right. So to get us started, and maybe to prove that we're all in this together, I have a confession to make.
Oh, a confession? This sounds serious.
It is a little embarrassing, actually, but I think it's important to share because I have a very strong feeling I'm not the only one who does this. It connects perfectly to that narrative about scrolling that we saw in the source material.
Okay, go on. The microphone is all yours.
So this was just a few nights ago. I'd had a long day. I was tired, I got into bed and I made a sort of verbal contract with myself. I said, okay, self, you are going to go to sleep early tonight. You really need the rest.
The classic lie we tell ourselves. The intention is always good, but the execution, maybe not so much.
It is the biggest lie. So I plugged my phone in to charge it, but then I thought, I'll just check one email, just to make sure the world didn't end while I was getting ready for bed.
Of course, just the one.
Then that one email turned into checking the news headlines, and then that turned into watching a video about, I honestly don't even know what it was about, how to bake sourdough bread or restore antique furniture, something completely random.
The internet rabbit hole. The algorithm knows exactly how to trap you. It's designed for that.
It's perfectly designed for that. And the room was dark, just that harsh blue light from the phone hitting my face. And here's where it gets really interesting and, frankly, kind of scary. I looked up at the clock and I genuinely thought only 20 minutes had passed.
Right. That's what it feels like.
In my head, it was just a short break. But in reality, it had been 2 hours.
2 hours. Wow. That's a significant amount of sleep. Just gone.
2 full hours. I was shocked. And the source material we looked at describes this moment so perfectly. It calls it a wake-up call. I looked at that screen time notification on my phone, and it wasn't just numbers. It felt like a judgment.
It's a very harsh realization, isn't it? In the source, they use a phrase for this specific behavior that's, it's very powerful. They say you realize you are trading your life for scrolling.
That is the phrase that hit me so hard, trading your life for scrolling. When I realized that's what I was doing, I felt this really strange sensation. It wasn't just tiredness. It was the feeling of falling behind.
Tell me more about that.
Even though I was doing something, I was consuming content, my brain was technically active, I felt like I was stuck in mud while the rest of the world was just moving forward without me.
That feeling of falling behind is so common. So many people feel that. It's the feeling that you're busy, your brain is full, but your life isn't actually moving toward the things you genuinely care about.
Yes.
It's motion, but it's not progress.
Precisely.
Yeah.
And in that moment, at 1 a.m, staring at a video I didn't even care about, I realized something. I didn't need to overhaul my entire life. I didn't need to become some kind of monk or a productivity robot. I just needed to stop drifting.
And that brings us right to the core of the problem.
Mm-hmm.
What you were experiencing and what the source material highlights so well is something called stalling.
Stalling. Let's unpack that word a bit, because we usually hear it when we're talking about cars or engines, right?
It's a great analogy, actually. So imagine you're in a manual car, you're sitting in the driver's seat, the engine is running, you even have a map, you know where you want to go.
Okay, I'm with you.
But you never actually put the car in gear.
Yeah.
You just sit there, maybe revving the engine. That's stalling.
That is a perfect analogy. There's noise, there's energy, but there is absolutely no forward movement.
Exactly. We stall because we're waiting for the perfect time to start. We plan, we do research, we tell ourselves we're preparing, we buy the English books, we download the language apps, but really we're just delaying the action.
Why do we do that?
Because we're afraid it'll be too hard. We're afraid of the effort or maybe even of failing.
So in my story, I was stalling my sleep. Is that what was happening?
In a way, yes. You were avoiding the end of the day, or perhaps you were avoiding the pressure the next day by escaping into your phone. But there is a solution, and it's not a complicated one.
Okay, I'm ready for it.
In the source text, they discuss a concept called the minimum winning day. But to make it even stickier for our listeners, we're going to call it the 10-minute rule.
The 10-minute rule. I like the sound of that.
How could be?
Well, it sounds doable. But why 10 minutes? Why not 5? Or, why not 30?
It seems to be the Goldilocks amount of time. Not too big, not too small. It's just right. But the key is that it's extremely doable. And that's the entire point. The philosophy here is very simple. There's a quote from our source that summarizes it perfectly. Stop trying to impress your future self. Start helping your present self.
Ooh, I like that. Say that again.
Stop trying to impress your future self. Start helping your present self.
That's powerful, because we spend so much time imagining this, future me who runs marathons, speaks 5 languages fluently, and never eats sugar.
Exactly. But present you is tired and just wants to scroll. The 10-minute rule is what bridges that gap, and it works because of how our brains are wired.
Okay, explain the science a bit.
If you tell your brain, hey, we're going to sit down and study English grammar for 2 hours, your brain immediately says, no way. That is way too hard. That sounds painful. Let's watch TV instead.
My brain definitely says that. It treats a big task like that as a threat.
It does. But if you say to your brain, we're just going to do this for 10 minutes, your brain, well, it can't really argue with that. It's too small of a task to fight against. The resistance just melts away.
So it's like tricking yourself into being productive?
I call it a negotiation more than a trick. You're lowering the barrier to entry. You're making it easy to start. And this leads us to another great idiom from the source material, drawing a line in the sand.
A line in the sand. I love these visual idioms. Can you explain what this means for our listeners?
Sure. Imagine you are standing on a beach, you take a stick, or even just your foot, and you draw a literal line in the sand. You're standing on one side and you say, okay, that was the old way of doing things.
Right.
Then you physically step over the line and say, this is the new way.
It's a boundary, a clear decision point.
Exactly. It's a clear boundary. The moment you looked at your screen time at 1 in the morning, that could have been your line in the sand. It doesn't have to be a big, dramatic, emotional explosion.
No fireworks needed.
No. It's just a quiet, firm decision. You say to yourself, okay, from this moment on, I am changing one small thing.
And the key word there is small, isn't it? We're not building a giant wall in the sand. It's just a line. It's easy to step over.
Precisely. If you build a wall, you have to find a way to climb it, which takes a lot of energy. A line is just a decision.
Okay, so let's make this really practical. We have this idea of the 10-minute rule. We have our line in the sand. But how does this actually look in real life? Because 2026 is a long year, and we all have different areas of our lives we want to manage.
That's a great question. Let's look at 3 specific areas where people usually feel that New Year pressure. The first one is a big one. Health, specifically movement.
Oh, yes. The gyms are always full in January, and then pretty empty by February. It happens every single year.
It happens every year because people try to go from 0 to 100 overnight. They try to become athletes when they haven't run in 5 years. The context here is that most of us are living what you'd call sedentary lives. We sit at desks, we sit in cars, we sit on the sofa.
Sedentary. That's a good word. We should put that in our vocabulary basket for later. It basically just means sitting too much, right?
Exactly. So applying the 10-minute rule here is not about exercise for weight loss or for building big muscles, not at first anyway. It's about breaking the pattern of sitting. It's about changing your identity.
Okay, so instead of a 1-hour high-intensity spin class, what does the 10-minute rule look like for movement?
It looks like a 10-minute walk around the block after dinner. Or it could be 10 minutes of stretching while you watch TV. Or, my personal favorite, putting on 3 of your favorite songs and just dancing in the kitchen while you wait for the kettle to boil.
Dancing in the kitchen counts.
It absolutely counts. The source material really emphasizes this point. It's not about magic. It's not about burning 1,000 calories in 10 minutes. It's about telling your body and your brain, we are movers now. You are proving to yourself that you can show up.
I think I can commit to 10 minutes of dancing. That feels so much less scary than a gym membership.
See? Your brain didn't fight it. You didn't wince at the thought.
It didn't. Okay. Let's talk about the big one for our listeners. Learning English. This is usually where the biggest stalling happens.
Oh, this is where I see so much stalling. Listeners often feel they need to sit down with a textbook, a highlighter, a dictionary, for at least an hour to properly study.
And they think if it isn't painful, it doesn't count as learning.
Exactly. And because they don't have a spare hour, they end up doing 0.
The classic all or nothing trap.
Correct. So let's apply the 10-minute rule to English learning. The source material mentions something I found very liberating. The no dictionary fight.
No dictionary fight. That sounds very peaceful.
It means engaging with English without stopping every 2 seconds to look up a word you don't know. It means just letting the language wash over you.
Kind of like listening to this deep dive.
Exactly like this. If you listen to us for 10 minutes while you wash the dishes or while you're on your commute to work, you have won the day. You have applied the rule. You are keeping the connection to English alive.
What about speaking, though? Speaking can feel so heavy. The fear of making mistakes is very real for a lot of people.
It is. The source suggests a brilliant tiny habit for this. The voice note. You don't even need a conversation partner. You don't need a teacher. Just open the voice recorder app on your phone, the same phone you were scrolling on, and record a 15-second message to yourself.
Just 15 seconds? What would you even say?
Anything. Say, today I am tired, but I am recording this message. Boom. Done. You have spoken English today. You kept the promise to yourself.
That's incredibly powerful. It shifts the entire focus from perfection to just presence. You just showed up.
That's it. And over time, those 15-second notes, they add up. But more importantly, you stop being afraid of the sound of your own voice in English.
Okay, and the third area you mentioned was work or productivity. This is for when you feel totally overwhelmed by your environment. Maybe your desk is a mess or your email inbox is just exploding.
Oh, the messy desk. I know that feeling so well. It creates this kind of visual noise. It makes it hard to even start working.
It creates mental clutter, for sure. So the 10-minute rule here is what you could call the small cleanup. You don't try to clean the whole house. You don't try to answer every single email. You just pick one small thing.
Like what?
You make the bed. Or you clear off just the surface of your desk, nothing else.
The source called this clean room confidence. I absolutely love that term.
It's a great term. It's basically a psychological trick. When you control one small thing in your physical environment, like making your bed, you send a signal to your brain that says, I am in control. You start to rebuild self-trust.
It's so true. When I make my bed in the morning, I feel like I'm a responsible adult who has their life together, even if the rest of the house is a complete disaster.
It's a starting point, and that is all we really need.
Okay, I am feeling motivated. I really am. I have my 10-minute rule. I'm ready to draw my line in the sand, but I know myself. And I know human nature. What happens when I fail? Because I will fail. It's 2026. I'm going to have a bad Tuesday eventually.
You absolutely will. And this brings us to what I think is the most important part of this entire discussion, the reality check.
The reality check. I'm ready.
We need to acknowledge that listeners will fail one day. The source material calls this the slip-up.
A slip-up. I like that word. It's not a crash, just a slip.
Right. A slip-up is just missing a day. Or maybe you do the old habit. You scroll until 1 in the morning again. The danger isn't the mistake itself. The real danger is the voice in your head that speaks after the mistake.
Oh, I know that voice very well.
Yeah.
And the harsh voice, the
Yeah.
critic. It says, see, you have no discipline. Why did you even try? Just give up now.
That voice is the real enemy. It utilizes what psychologists call the what the hell effect.
The what the hell effect. Tell me more.
Yeah, it's a real term. It's like when you're on a diet and you eat one cookie, you think, well, I've already ruined the diet for today, so what the hell? I might as well eat the whole box of cookies.
I have definitely done that.
Uh,
I missed my English practice yesterday, so I might as well just take the whole week off and start again on Monday.
exactly. That voice tells you that because you broke your perfect streak, you've lost everything. But that is completely false.
So how do we fight that voice? What's the strategy?
We use a strategy called the quick restart.
The quick restart. I like it.
Think about it this way. Consistency isn't about having a perfect streak. It's not about never, ever missing a day. True consistency is defined by how fast you get back on track after you fall off.
That is a huge shift in perspective. A
Yeah.
really huge one. I've always thought consistency meant like 100% perfect attendance.
No. Life has what the source calls potholes.
Potholes, like the holes in the road that can damage your car.
Yes, exactly like that. Imagine you're driving your car down the highway of 2026. You hit a pothole, it bumps you, it shakes the car. Maybe you even have to slow down or stop for a second.
Okay?
What do you do next? Do you get out of the car, slash the other 3 tires, and set the car on fire?
No, that would be insane. You just keep driving. Maybe a little more carefully for a bit.
Exactly. But that is what we do with our habits. We miss one day of English practice. We hit a pothole, and we say, well, I failed. I guess I'll never learn English. And we quit the whole journey.
Put that way, it sounds completely ridiculous. So the quick restart is just keep driving.
It means you forgive yourself immediately. You don't wait for next Monday to start again. You don't wait for the first of the month. You restart immediately. If you missed your 10-minute walk this morning, you do a 10-minute stretch in the evening. You close the gap as soon as you can.
I love that. It takes all the drama out of failure. It just makes failure a normal part of the process rather than the end of the process.
Exactly. And that is how you actually build a new you. Not by being perfect, but by being resilient.
Wow. This has been such an insightful discussion. Honestly, I feel like the pressure's just been lifted off my shoulders. I don't need to be perfect. I just need to be quick to restart.
That's the entire spirit of it.
Okay, before we finish up, I want to make sure our listeners really own the language we've used today. I think it's time for our vocabulary basket. We've got 6 key terms to review.
Let's do it. You want to start us off?
Sure. Number 1 is drifting. As we discussed at the start, this is when you're moving but without a plan. You're living on autopilot. It's not that you're stopped, but you aren't steering the ship. You're just letting the current take you wherever.
Right. And number 2 is stalling. This is all about delaying action. It's when you're busy planning and researching and preparing, but you're not actually doing the thing. It's the illusion of work, but without any real progress.
Number 3 is a great adjective. Doable. This just means something is possible to do. It's realistic. If a goal feels too heavy or too big, it's not doable. The whole point of the 10-minute rule is to make your goals doable.
Number 4 is that idiom we liked, a line in the sand. And this is just a clear limit or a boundary that you set for yourself. It's that moment you decide that the past behavior stops right here and a new small behavior begins now.
Number 5 is the word harsh. This describes that negative, critical voice in your head. Being harsh means you're being too strict, unkind, or aggressive with yourself. We want to be honest with ourselves, but not harsh. There's a big difference.
A very big difference. And finally, number 6 is our main strategy, the quick restart. This is the idea of not giving up after you make a mistake. It means you start again immediately, without any guilt or drama.
Fantastic. I really hope everyone listening adds those to their personal vocabulary basket. They're useful for so much more than just New Year's resolutions.
They really are the useful concepts for any area of life, really.
So, as we sign off, we want to give you, our listener, a small challenge. We want you to choose just one area for your 10-minute rule in 2026. Is it English? Is it movement? Is it that small cleanup?
Just pick one. Don't try to do all 3 at once. Keep it doable. And remember, if you miss a day, when you miss a day, just do a quick restart.
Thank you so much for listening to the Fluency English Podcast. We are really rooting for you this year.
We certainly are. Good luck, and we'll speak to you soon.
Bye for now.